A 75-pound yellow lab who hadn't wagged his tail in 732 days, shuttled between 3 shelters, and returned by 2 families who all said the same thing. This dog is too broken. Everyone believed his spirit was gone for good, a hollow shell of a dog who had forgotten how to feel joy. But they hadn't introduced him to a 7-month pregnant woman named Sarah who couldn't sleep at night. Nobody knew what trauma had shattered Gunner's world, but his file painted a grim picture of a dog who cowered at sudden movements and stared at the wall for hours. His first family returned him after 11 days, and his second wrote a note that the shelter manager never forgot. "We don't think he's capable of joy." His file was marked for final review, the quiet language of a dog running out of time. At 2:15 a.m., Sarah found his profile online and showed it to her husband, Mark, the next morning, who looked at the photo and said, "He looks empty inside." Sarah's voice was soft but firm when she replied, "I know, that's why we have to try." They brought Gunner home that Friday, and he stood in the middle of their living room for 10 minutes, bracing himself for the next bad thing to happen. For a month, Sarah simply existed in the same space as him, never forcing a touch, never trying to coax him, just letting him be. She kept a journal on her nightstand, noting every tiny victory. The first time he finished his food, the first time he nudged her hand with his nose for a split second. But his tail remained still, a dead weight reminding them of how much healing was still left to do. Then, baby Lily arrived 6 days early, a tiny 6-pound, 8-ounce miracle who filled the quiet house with her newborn cries. When Mark carried her car seat through the front door, Gunner walked forward slowly, lowered his head, and sniffed the air around her blanket. Then, for the first time in 732 days, his tail moved, a single slow, hesitant wag, like a forgotten muscle waking from a long and terrible sleep. From that moment, Gunner transformed. He began sleeping outside Lily's door every night, a self-appointed sentinel watching over the most important person in his world. Labradors were bred for generations, not as aggressive guards, but as intuitive partners hardwired to understand human emotion. Lily hadn't trained him. She had simply unlocked the purpose that had been buried deep inside him all along. One night in February, while Lily was fussy with a low fever, Sarah sat in the nursing chair at 3 a.m., exhausted and anxious. She found herself watching Gunner lying in the doorway, his chest rising and falling in a slow, steady rhythm. She found more comfort in his calm, certain presence than in the crackling baby monitor, and for the first time in weeks, she felt truly safe in her own home. For 732 days, nobody could reach him and everyone gave up hope. But a 6-pound baby girl came home and reminded him who he was meant to be. Some dogs aren't broken forever. They're just waiting for the one person who can show them the way back to themselves. If Gunner's journey from a ghost to a guardian moved you, please consider giving a difficult shelter dog a second chance.